Hello, everybody. We want to welcome you to Lebanon Church Boy Kick and Pop Study. I was a little delayed tonight. As always, Pastor was out working late tonight, and they put me on the end of my route, the old route. And as I begin to embrace the new and go into the old, I'm always stopping people telling me just how much they appreciate me, how much they love me, and they almost always have tears in their eyes. It's a big disappointment that I'm not there anymore. Thank God for giving me that present and things like that, but they're reassured every time I popped up. So I just wanted to encourage you. Um, Sometimes when things are new, we always kind of go into it the way we go into it, but God is still there. We even when things are new, and we will get comfortable with it. So tonight message is Deuteronomy 31:32 for those of you who may be viewing this stuff online, because we are going to start putting our message out because we think we have one of the best church in the world when it comes to giving you knowledge of who God is. My job is not to save you, it's Jesus' job. My job is to show you the light and let the light shine so that you can get the light, and when you get the light, man, you can get saved. So we started this book from the journey from the book of Genesis, and we're working our way down to the book of Revelation. Before we get um, down in Doom and Roman, I want to talk to you a little bit about how the Bible came together and how the peoples in their old days wrote the Bible. Most likely, Moses had peoples to write for him. Okay, um, in the old days, people had scribes and things like that. These are professional peoples who know how to write. Most likely when Moses was telling the stories or the kings was telling the story, you had these scribes was putting this book together, and these religious council in Jerusalem was putting this book together to kind of tell their story so they can pass it along to the next generation. And so this book was carefully written. And so the book of Deuteronomy probably is the work of another author, because as that's finishing up the work or trying to tell the story in a way that the peoples behind them or the peoples way in front of them can read it and kind of have the history and the word of God, how it happened, so that you can follow along to know that this book is true. So it was written in that way. And so when we go to the book of Genesis and things like that, the reason I can use, I had to go back in the New Testament to show you some things in Genesis so you can understand what the author is saying. If they had wrote a day by day chronicle of the whole Bible, we would never finish reading. So what they did was they put a lot of the main facts together so that you can draw a conclusion based on what it's saying. These are very skillful writing the stories of Moses and all the other prophets and things like that. Did Moses live the story? Yes. But everything that Moses said probably wasn't put in the book. It's the chronicles of what they thought was important to make you lead up to the book. Are all the other books um, that we used to know was all part of the Jewish conversation? Yes. But for some reason, after David came along and after his son Solomon came along, a lot of things was kind of just like, well, we're just not going to include this in. We're going to keep this chronicle because we believe that this is the best way that we can speak to future generations. So when you're reading the Bible, that's what you're reading. You're reading a bunch of skillful writing and careful peoples who put this Bible together over time to give you this message so that we can learn it and come to God. So it was very skillfully done. I want to say that tonight before we get into Deuteronomy. That is, we started with Genesis and we getting ready to come out of Deuteronomy and get into the book of what Joshua. Okay, the book of Joshua we probably consider it as not necessarily part of the law, but part of the writings or the chronicles. And we'll talk a little bit about the history of the Bible when God leads me in to teach you how it was done, so that you can have more confidence that it is the word of God and not worried about what people did or did not do for the Bible. The Bible is sufficient enough to get you to God. All right, Deuteronomy 31:32. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. A God of truth without iniquity. What is iniquity? Sin. He's without sin, and he's when he's just, he's fair, and he is what? Right. Okay? He is fair and he is right. Okay? And that's what you need to understand about this God. And this is why we can trust this God. Amen, and that this God can lead us and guide us everywhere. So let's get into it. Deuteronomy 31. There's only 30 verses in this chapter. And let's see what God say. And Moses went to speak the word unto all of Israel. This is the chronicle giving you a story of Moses. He's going to take you into it. He's going to tell Israel the law. He's going to take them into it. He's going to tell them the law, because Moses did speak with Israel before he died to send them into the journey. So Israel Deuteronomy is that book that Chronicles using to try to give you Moses' last time with Israel and try to give you all the important facts that God said to Israel. So you see Moses, but Moses most likely is dead by the time Joshua comes into fruition to lead the peoples in to the promised land. Moses led the peoples to the land, but Joshua had to lead them in. So Moses is going to die with this Deuteronomy chapter is the chapter that deal with trying to show you Moses' last moments and how this came up to the point before they go. Then they go in with Joshua. And Moses went and spoke these words unto the children of Israel. And he said unto them, I am 120 years, 120 years this day. Good God Almighty. I can no more go out and come in. My time is done, Israel. Also the Lord hath said unto me, Thou shalt not go over this Jordan. In other words, sometime our time is just finished. And one day God may get to me and say, okay, Pastor, your time is finished with this here. You have preached to him. You have gave him everything I want to you. Now go run your business or whatever. It may come a time that my time is what finished. So this is what's happening. And the Lord, thou God, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Lord hath what said. And God is saying here, Moses' time is up because of what Moses did to the rock. Joshua is going to what lead. Now the Chronicles is letting you know, okay, at some time Moses is going to die, and now Joshua is going to take the people in. We're going to start talking to you as the Bible, as the with the understanding of the Bible, so you can know what the authors of these different peoples in time who come together and start adding to this story and made it work. How God put it together. And the Lord shall go unto them as he did to was that I don't know if I'm saying the Shechem and the king of the Amalekites, the Amorites, if I'm saying it right, and unto the land of what them whom he destroyed. And the Lord shall give them up before thou face, that ye may go unto them according unto all the what commandments which I have commanded you. Now here God comes back. It's very important that you stay with me and you stay with my commandments. It's very important. You have to learn to stay with me and stay with my commandments. Okay. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of what them. God is telling you, I know this is difficult. I know they are giants. I know they are big. I know you're used to being crapped on. I know you was a slave in Egypt. I know you lost your self-confidence, but be of good courage. Fear not. Be not afraid of them. Why? For the Lord thou God, he it is that go that do that doeth go with what thee. God is going to go with you. He will not fail thee, nor what forsake thee. Understand that, Sister Ellen? He will not forsake thee. And Moses called unto Joshua and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and of good courage. Again, for thou must go with these peoples unto the land which the Lord thy God hath sworn unto thy fathers to give what them, and thou shalt them, uh, cause them to what inherit it. Now, all this talk about Israel, the covenant God made with Israel, or the promise that He made, was to give them the land. Once they got the land and all that, God kind of had fulfilled His promise with them. But He was telling them that I'm gonna give you a new covenant, which is my what self. So God is about to fulfill this promise that he had been promised over 600 years. He's about to fulfill it. 8. And the Lord, he it is that do go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee, nor fear not, neither be what dismayed. And that's the thing that we have to learn following God, not to fear so much. God is going to be with you, but we're not used to that type of love or that type of realness about it. We're just not used to something being there for us. So it's hard for our mind to grapple with it. So that's why we have to kind of fail before we understand. Even if we make a mistake, God will come in and clean it up. And you just start trusting God a little bit more. And Moses wrote this law, and deliver it unto the priests, the sons of the Levites, which bear the ark of covenant of the Lord, and unto all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, see, now, as I'm saying, Moses probably had people writing for him as they began to write this together so they can keep it together. It had to be organized. It just couldn't be, I mean, I'm pretty sure it goes to Moses every day. Okay. At the end of every 7 years, in the, what's this? Similitude of the year of release. Okay. In the feast of the tabernacle, when all of Israel come to appear before thou wilt God in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all of Israel in their what hearing. So now you see, even back then, Moses and them had compiled this book or compiled this particular part of it so that it can be read to them. Why? Because the story had to be passed down from generation to generation. You see how they go? So now Moses said, well, Joshua, now you take this book. So we know that at some point they had a book, okay? He said the law, the words of the law of this book. So we know they had a book, okay? Gather the people together, men and women, children, and strangers that is within thy what gate, that they may what hear, and that they may what learn. See, now I'm going to hear, they got to learn what God is saying, and to fear the Lord your word God, and to observe to do all the words of this what law. Again, they have to do all the words of the law, the Sabbath, all of it. Okay, and that their children which have not known anything, see, may hear. See, that's what the purpose of this book, so that your children that didn't see, they may what hear and learn to fear the Lord thy word God, as long as ye would live in the land, whether ye go over the Jordan to what possess it. See, God is, it's amazing how God is doing this tonight. I love it. And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, the days approaches that thou must what die. Call Joshua, the I'm sorry, and present yourself in the holy tabernacle of combination, that I may give him the what charge. Now Moses is Jesus is saying, okay, Moses, your day is coming now. I'm ready for you to come home and meet me. Call Joshua, okay? And Moses and Joshua went in and presented themselves in the tabernacle of congregation. They presented themselves in that temple that I showed you how they built. They right there. And the Lord appeared in the tabernacle in the pillar of a what cloud. So now God, Jesus, came right in that tabernacle. That's what happened. And the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the what tabernacle. So hey, God is covering that door so Joshua didn't run out of there. And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, thou shalt sleep without what father? In other words, Moses, you finna die. And these people will rise up and go a what horn after other gods, a strange god in the land. Now, and this is him, Moses. He's telling Moses, now you finna die and go to the job, but these people will rise up and they're gonna go and go horn after other gods. Look what he's telling Moses. A strange in what land? Whether thou goes to be among, I'm sorry, whether they go to be among them and will forsake me and break my word covenant which I have made with them. God is telling Moses, Moses, you think what they did at the rock that made you hit that rock, you're gonna die, and they still, he's telling Moses in advance, they're gonna break my covenant. They're gonna break my covenant. They're gonna do good for a minute, but eventually they're gonna do what Jesus said they're gonna do. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evil and trouble shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evil? I'm sorry, are not this evil come upon us, because our God is not among us? See, it's all about breaking that covenant. I don't care what the devil do. I don't care if you make mistakes. Stay with that covenant, because Jesus, he's telling Moses, you finna die, but I'm telling you, all your work, I appreciate it. They still gonna end up not being able to fulfill what I want to do. And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evil which they shall have, that they shall have what wrath, and that they are turned unto other gods. See? And now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their what mouth, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. Moses, God made them write a song. Well, I tell you, Jesus, you Sunday. For when I shall have brought them unto the land which I have sworn unto their what fathers, flowing with milk and honey, and uh, they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat, then will they turn unto other gods and serve them and provoke me and break my word covenant. Jesus said, now once everything start going good and I give them all the blessings that they need, they're going to go and try to, when he say worship other God, they're going to literally worship other God. But how they do that, they're going to try to befriend the peoples who doing all that stuff, and to impress them, they're going to do it. That's exactly what they did. And it shall come to pass when many evils and troubles are befallen them again, that uh, this song shall be testified against them as a what witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of their what the mouth of their what seed. For I know their what imaginations, which they do about. Which I'm sorry, I know their imagination, what they go about. Jesus saying, after he did all this stuff, he still know that they're not quite there. He's reading their minds and their thoughts. He still didn't know they're not quite there. They're not mature enough to handle what he knows this already. Even though before I have brought them unto the land which I was for. And I'm trying to tell you, God knows sometimes we're trying to mature. He knows when we are fully mature. And Moses therefore wrote this song the same day and taught the what children of Israel, and he gave Joshua the son of Nun a word charge and said, be strong and go, be of good courage, and thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I have sworn to what them, and I will be with thee. And God is telling Joshua this. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of the writing of the song, okay, writing of the words of this song, in song, the word of this law in the book, until they were what finished. Now, you see now that there was some type of book was being formed back then. We believe that the book or those scrolls or whatever was being passed down. That was some type of canvas back then that was being passed down. So, and Moses commanded Levites, and bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord thy God, saying, that this book of the law is put in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord thou God. What is the ark of the covenant? The ark is that place with the mercy seat where God, Jesus used to come and visit the people, and he would sit up on. So that book, he was always I like to say that he did that so that the people always know that he was always resting upon his word. Good God Almighty, that it may be there for a what witness against what thee. For I know thou what rebellion, see, and thou art stiff necked, see. Even way back then, Jesus understood that wow, this is going to be this is going to be a journey. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellions against the what Lord. This is Moses telling them. I'm still, y'all are still just not right. How much more after about what death? Moses, God is preparing Moses' death. Gather unto me all the elders of your what tribe and all your officers, and I will speak these words unto their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against what them. For I know that after my death ye will utter corrupt yourself. How do Moses know that? Because God just told him. And turn aside thy way which I have what commanded you, and evil will what befall you in the latter what days. So somewhere before Moses died, Moses already understood that Israel was going to go in captivity because God told him. Because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord and provoke him to what anger through the works of your what hand. And Moses spoke in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were what ended. So Moses rehearsed whatever song Moses wrote. I haven't. sing the song, but maybe it's in Psalm somewhere. I don't know, but after God made him wrote a song that they were going to uttermost fail. Now Jesus knew that they were going to uttermost fail. Okay, he said he already knew. Told Moses they were going to be scattered. Told Israel, told Abraham that his children were going to go into captivity for what 200 some years. He told him that. All right. We're in the book of 32. We got 52 chapters to get through tonight. Hope I can get through it before falling asleep. This is very tiring for me tonight, but we're going to get through it to tooth and toenail. One of the things you need to understand in 31, God is telling Israel, I'm going to give you the land, even though I know you're going to eventually fail, but I'm going to fulfill my promise. And God worked with Israel, and Israel eventually did fall. But he told Moses before he died that it's not going to end well, Moses. And Moses told them, and he wrote a song. Now, I would love to find that song and give it to you. Maybe that's something I can do. I can try. I don't know. But the Bible don't necessarily particularly talk about the song. But he wrote a song, and they had to sing that song, telling them that they were going to fail. 32. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my what mouth. My doctrine shall drop as what? The rain. My speech shall what? Uh, distill as the what? Dew. As the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the what shower upon the what grass, because I will publish my name, publish the name of the what Lord. Ascribe your what greatness unto your what our what God. He is a what rock. Maybe this is the song. His work is what perfect. For all his ways is what are what judgments. Now his ways are what judgment. A God of what truth, without iniquity, just and right is what he. Maybe this is the song. He will corrupt. Thou have what corrupted themselves. Thou hast spot their spots is not the spots of his what children's. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do ye these? Do ye this? Apart the Lord, O foolish peoples and unwise. Is not he thou what father that have brought thee? Has he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thou father, and he will show thee, thou elders, and thou and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided all the nations their inheritance, and he separated the sons of Adam, the sons of what Adam. He set the what boundaries of the peoples according to the numbers of the children of Israel. For the Lord portion is the people, and Jacob is the lot of his what inheritance. He found him a what desert land. He found him in a what desert land, and in a what waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, and kept him as the apple of his what eye. As the eagle swooped up his what nest, fluttered over his what young, spread abroad his what wings. Take them, bear them on her what wings. So the Lord among did lead. So the Lord alone did. I'm sorry. So the Lord alone did lead him. Right. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride upon the high places of the wood earth, that he may eat the increase of the what field. He made him to sip a sock honey out of the rock, and oil out of the what's that flinter rock, butter uh, butter of cane, and milk of sheep, with fat of the lamb and ram of the beard of, hold on, I gotta try to clean my glasses. I'm having a hard time seeing big time. And goats and fat of the kidneys of what wheat, and they did drink the purple blood of the what grapes. But Jerusalem, I'm sorry, but I can't even think of his name. But um, let's just give it a try. Just the Jehum waxed fat and kicked it, and thou art waxed fat, and thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fat. Then thou forsake God which made him, and lighteth esteem the rock of his what salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange God, and with abomination provoke thou among thou that are provoke they him to what anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not unto what God. Wow. And God among them, and God whom they were knew not. New gods, they new gods that came newly up, whom thou fathers fear not. Of the rock they begot thee through art mindful, and have forgotten God that formed thee. Let me go back and read it though, because I can do better. Just give me a minute. Let me clean my glasses right quick. I can see. That's so much better. 18. Let's go back over. And forgive me. I was trying to bomb it to it, but I don't want to bomb it to it. For the rock that begot thee, which is Jesus, uh, thou art unmindful, and have forgotten God that formed what thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provoking of his what son, and of his what daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will see what thy end shall what be. For thou art a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. Wow. Mm-mm. I can tell just by that statement, they really wasn't in the word of God because they didn't have no faith. Okay. They have moved me to what jealousy, that which is not God. They have provoked me unto anger with their vanities. I will move them to what I will move them to jealousy with these which are not a what people. Now Jesus was saying, he told Moses from the beginning, right, that he was going to they was going to fail, and he's telling them why they fell. And so at the end, he said he was going to promote them with people outside of Israel. That's why he mean not a what people. And I will provoke them in anger with a what foolish nation. So there's going to be a foolish nation. I believe that we really are that foolish nation that he is marking us with, because God really thinks that we are foolish in some of the things that we are doing. And after fire is kindled in my what anger, I will burn and shall what burn unto the what lowest of hell. And let me go back and read that. As the fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest of hell. This is hell, that's the physical hell. And shall consume the earth with her what increase, and set on fire the foundations of the what mountains. And I will heap mixture upon what them, and I will spin my what arrows on what unto what them, and they shall be burned with hunger, and destroyed with burnt what heat. Meaning that the earth gonna get hot. There's eventually you're gonna see famine is gonna be a big problem, and it's already starting. We just don't see it here. And with bitter destructions. And I will also send a teeth of the beast unto them, and their portion shall and their portion of the serpents of the what earth, the swords without, terror with within. I will destroy both the youngs and the what virgin, the suckling also with the men's gray hairs. And I say, I will scatter them to, I will scatter them unto corners. And honestly, Israel, I'm gonna say this here because this happened. Israel um, became two nations. You had Judah and you had Israel. Where Israel was 10 tribes and Judah was two. But Israel itself, when he say Israel, the physical tribe that left to call themselves Israel, they got scattered all across the earth. This is what he means. And I would scatter them unto corners, and I would make them remember of them that cease from among men. And so, how can I put this? Well, when we get into the Israel, when we get into David, there's something significant happened that caused Israel and them to rip apart. Okay, because when David became king, David had two high priests. It never was done that before in Israel. In Israel, when Jesus saw the temple, it was one high priest. Well, those two high priests it began to compete against each other. Okay, and it kind of divided Israel into a point. So when David died, and when Solomon became king, Solomon took the priest or the priesthood that supported him in his campaign, and the other priesthood was exiled. And many people believe that with that exaltation, that one priest began to politic, and that's how Israel became one nation, and Judah became the next, because there was a divide there. Okay, and with that dividing there, I believe that angered God because the the priest with Solomon is what God held to. God with Solomon. And I believe that division began to take Israel further and further and further down the road that they didn't need to go. I just want to say that before I continue on. Where is where is not were it not that I fear that the wrath of thy word enemy, lest their adversaries shall behave themselves strangely, and lest they shall say, Oh, uh, our hand is what high, and the Lord hath not done all of what this. For they are a what nation void of counsel, is they neither is there any understanding in them. So Israel's gonna get to a point that they're gonna lose all their understanding of God, all that. And I think in our country we're really losing it. We have no concept really who God is, except that He's just God. 29. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. Jesus saying at the beginning, if they kind of started taking advantage of what they were, and they really should start kept preaching and talking about God to another generation. Because when we get lax with our generation, all that they begin to forget who God is or take Him for granted. And I think Jesus saying if they could consider how they was going to end up, they would have a stronger, more approach to what the ministry and how they was doing. How shall one chase 1,000, and how shall two put 10,000 to what flights? Except thou rock had the rock had what sold them, and the Lord had shut them up, and their rock is not as our rock, meaning that their foundation is not as strong as what God have done. So their rock and our rock is different because you notice our rock is capitalized. They was talking about God. Their rock, because they're dealing with false gods. See, that's why you see the capitalization like that. Even our enemy thyself being will judge. For their uh, vain, for their vain is of the vein of what Solomon, and the fields of Goshen, and the grapes are the grapes of Gal, and the clusters of what bitter. Their vines are their vines is a poison as what dragon, and the cure uh, cruel vintage of apps. Now, why did they use Solomon? Because Solomon wasn't born. Remember, this is the person who's writing to try to give you the full detail. Now, we knew God told them they was going to do it. And again, Solomon went straying off the other gods. And so Solomon did do that. And so that's why he's using Solomon in his text. In the actuality, when Deuteronomy was being written, Solomon wouldn't have been born. But you see how I told you earlier how the Bible was coming together. You know, the writer was using illustrations and things to try to keep this story going forward here. And they would also go in and use other figures to make this happen. So it's how the Bible was put together, and we talked a little bit about that before I got started. It is not laid up as in store with thee, and sealed up among thy what treasure, and to be belongers, ventures, and recompense. Thou foot shall slide in due time. And so in time, we know Israel is going to mess up. For the days of thy calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come unto them mark haste. For the Lord shall what judge his what people, and repent himself for his what servants, and he shall seek that their power is what gone, and there is none shut up nor left, and he shall say, where is thou God? Thy rock is among thy what treasure. Which do eat the fat of which did eat the fat of the sacrifice, and drunk the wine of their what drunken offense. Let them rise up and help you, and be your what protection. This is God. I believe this is the song. If it was a song, I probably would have fell asleep on it. But I believe this is a song that Moses made them write to uh, sing so that they can be reminded not to do this. But in history, we understand that they did it. 39. See not that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with what me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I would heal. I read this the other night. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hands to heaven and I say, I live forever. This is Jesus talking. And if I with it my what's this glinting sword, whatever, my hand take hold on what judgment. I will render vengeance upon my enemy, and I will award them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood uh, of the slain and the captives from beginning of vengeance unto my what enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his peoples, for he will avenge the blood of thy what servant, and I will render vengeance unto his what adversary, and I will be merciful unto his what land, and unto his peoples. And Moses came and spoke all the words of this song, that was the song, in the ears of the peoples. And he said, and Hoshua the son of Nun, and Moses made an end of speaking all the words of, 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 of all the words to what Israel. And he said unto them, set your heart unto all the words, and I will testify among you this day, which ye shall command all the children to observe and to do all the words of the what law. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life. And and that's I'm gonna go back because it's interesting how you put that. because I've been preaching all this all along, or trying to teach all this all along. Now he said again, which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe and to do all the words of this what law. Now this is what he said. For it is not vanity, a thing for what you to do this, because it is what your life. This word is your what life. This is what I keep telling you. This is the life that Jesus came, and through and throws and through this thing ye shall what prolong your what days upon the land, whether ye go over the Jordan to what possess it. And the Lord spoke unto Moses that self same day, saying, Get thee up unto the what mountain, Abraham, uh, uh, Abalim, whatever that mountain is, and of the mountain Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, and it is over against Jericho, and behold the land of Canaan. Look at Canaan. He's going to show Moses all the land he's going to give the children of Israel, which I have given unto the children of Israel as a what possession, and and died in the what mountain, whether thou goes up, and gather thou and gather unto thou what peoples. And Aaron and his brother died in the same mountain, and were gathered up unto his what people. Aaron died first, then Moses died in the same place. Because of the trespasses against me among the children of what Israel, that the waters at the waters of Miskpol, Mis oh my God. I had actually learned the stupid word one time and I forgot it. In the wilderness of what Zen, because of your sacrifice, because ye sacrifice me not in the midst of the children of Israel. That's when Moses spoke to the rock and he got mad, and he hit the rock, and that's why he and Aaron was not able to do this next time. 52 and last. Yet thou shalt what see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give the children of what Israel. And that is it. I really encourage you to read over the last chapter, because for whatever reason my eyes is having such problems tonight. Um, Probably because I haven't eaten anything, and it's very hard for me to just kind of keep it together. But please go back and read chapter uh, 32, so you can go and get a good understanding. But that's the song that Moses put together. And all it was just illustrating what God said in 31. I think I did a pretty strong job in 31 explaining you what was going to happen in this. And so God is giving them the song. They had to sing the song before the nation in 32 all the time. But go back and read it, because I did a terrible job reading tonight. And I do apologize, but my eyes is just having a hard time focusing tonight. So don't know if I'm tired or did I eat something strange or whatever, one of the herbs working up there. I don't know, but I really had a hard time and I apologize for it. But go back and read it. But that is Deuteronomy 31 and 32. Please go back and read 32 for your own amusement, so you can just see all God is telling them. Moses wrote the song so that they could sing and they can remember. And at the end, Moses died in the same mountain that Aaron died, and he was gathering his people. We're getting ready for Joshua to take the people into the land. That's all I have tonight. If you like what you hear, you go to LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. Again, that is LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. Please go to our live broadcast tab. Drop down menu will appear. Select the Bible study selection of the drop down menu. Please click that. Join our Bible study. You get access. Tons of video like you see here tonight. Me talking and the words. Whether I'm bumbling or not, you can read along or do better than I do, but you will see everything there. You also get a link to go live when you come to ask the pastor any question based on what you heard, seen, and dealt with. Again, I do apologize tonight, but honestly, I just had a hard time focusing on the stream for whatever reason tonight. So whatever going on, I hope I'll be better for Saturday, because I surely don't want to have another night like this. So may God bless you, forever keep you in his care. Until next Wednesday night, we are going live.